Welcome to the Champions of Life podcast, where three orange-blooded Tennessee alums discuss how there's always next year.
What's up, everybody? Maybe a hey y'all for our Knoxvillians. Welcome back to the Champions of Life podcast. This is Bobby and Joe and Lainey coming to you live from R&S headquarters for all your warehousing, storage, distribution, pick and pack, everything, all your needs. Rail, truck,
light manufacturing.
If you're familiar with the term supply chain, we've got one of those chains that we can help you with, maybe even all of them. We're here to unpack a little bit about our beloved Tennessee Volunteers, an impressive year in a row Elite Eight appearance, an extremely disappointing third in a row Elite Eight loss. Just totally dropped the ball.
How would you rank the last three Elite Eight oustings that we had? What was the worst?
What was it, 3 years ago?
It's Purdue.
Purdue
Dalton Connect.
Yep.
Last year was
Houston. They obliterated us.
Chaz Lanier, Meshack, Ziegler.
Purdue, we were close. We were in there. I'd say that's probably the best one, and we still almost pulled it off. As much as he camped out, I can't say his name. His name is stricken from our household. Not allowed to say him. Their big man down low who camped out in the paint and never got a 3-second call.
Never fouled anybody either.
Right, which is incredible. That's the theme in all these games is the crazy. We can't blame the refs, but it was bad. I'd say that's probably the best we did. And I'd say this is one of the worst. Maybe in that order for me. 3 years ago, Houston, and then this year.
I think I agree with you, but I would reverse it because for those of you active listeners of the podcast, you know me in real life, and I cannot stand referees. They're flawed people just like the rest of us, but my goodness. And so that frustrates me more that we should have won that Purdue game. We did everything right. We outplayed, but it was, you can't blame the refs. But it was not a fair fight. And you saw that, again, it's marketing. You've got to have key players in the tournament to draw eyeballs, but Michigan's potential National Player of the Year, I mean, he's going up for an up and under reverse layup. It's a cool play, but you look at the replay, we didn't foul him, and then you look at the replay, they goaltended.
Yep.
And yet there's no call because you want that highlight to count. And so to me, I would say the most frustrating loss would be Purdue. Houston was a emotional letdown because we smacked Kentucky in the face in the Sweet 16. We got ramped up for that and had a huge letdown against Houston. We weren't ready to play. And then this one was just so ugly. It was so bad. And the one thing I'll say is I was a little disappointed, obviously, in the outcome, but I think it's like the first commercial break of the Michigan game. They cut to Rick Barnes on like one of those quick little sideline interviews, and he's like, "Oh, what are you going to do, Rick?" And I mean, he's like, "Oh, we're not going to change anything. This is we're going to keep doing what we did to get here." And I'm like, "Well, that's Rick. Look at that's not going to work. We got to do something." And the reporter's like, "What about all the shots not falling or the foul?" He's like, "Well, we got to figure out how to quit fouling." And it's like, "Hey, Rick, maybe go to bat for the guy. They're the ones." So when that interview came and then we missed the next 18 shots in a row, that was confirmation that we don't belong here. Now, huge. Again, all three of those games, we had great players. Dalton, Chaz, and then the supporting cast, Zakai. And it's a good roster this year, but all three of those rosters that we got smoked by in the Elite Eight, those were far superior teams to what Tennessee has, in my opinion.
Here's what I'll say. I agree with y'all. Purdue hurt the most because you felt like with Connect, he could get hot and we could make it to the Final Four. And he didn't shoot the best that game. I don't remember his percentage, but he did have an off game. Plus the Zach Edey stuff. I said his name, I didn't mean to. It just came out. So that one hurt the most. Also, that was Easter. Do you remember?
It was.
So like my entire family is, there's 30-something of us. Like everybody's locked in. Nobody's moving. And it's just terrible. Houston also, you mentioned it was an emotional game. it was even more because you knew that was Ziegler's last game, Nashak's, not just Chaz, but like these guys that had been core players for us for years, which is a phenomenon, unfortunately, that we're probably not going to have ever again, maybe. So that was also hard. But then this one was just, I mean, you could see it coming after the first 6-7 minutes of the game when I think they went 7 minutes without getting a foul. And I can't remember how many fouls we got in that span of time, but we got a ton and they got 0. And it was like, wait a second, something has happened. But they're also elite. So it's not just the officiating. Like, they outplayed us in every phase of the game. The only thing that I took away, or I guess the hopeful thing I took away, was that we were the last SEC team left.
Yep, true.
And obviously to have Alabama put out was great. But to have Florida put out, the way that they got, the way they got beat, and to see their players with their shirts over their faces, that was, that helped a little bit, right?
That's true.
If we're going to get embarrassed, it helped that at least Florida was out the weekend before.
That's true. We do have, we're back to champions of life.
Yeah, there's hope.
There was one play in the first 3 minutes of that Michigan game where we shot a 3, and you can watch Felix. He's making his way to the rim, and you see the Michigan guy. He's got his back towards Felix. He's boxing out, tracks where the ball is, and then immediately does a 180 and 2 arms extends and just checks Felix. So there's no chance he's getting to the ball. And it's right in front of the ref. And I was like, oh, well, this is... Now, obviously, the refs didn't make us lose shots or miss shots. They didn't make us lose possession of the ball. And our defense was in absolute scramble mode. Every time they penetrated, it was just beautiful basketball on their part. But when you've got that layered in, it's like, good night, we're done.
You already had 2 other number ones out on the other side, and they couldn't they could not have a third one.
That's a great
for
point.
Ratings. They had a memo before the game. Michigan's got to win.
And again, Tennessee doesn't have that elite star player. It's not a super attractive team from like storylines, and you don't have defensive player of the years anymore.
We don't have documentaries like the Fab Five.
We don't have those legacies. But there is like you would like to think somebody somewhere would be like, hey, these guys have been trying for a long time. Let's get them into the Final Four.
Let's swallow the whistle a little bit.
You would like to think that. But even, it was interesting, the announcers, and again, the announcers are the announcers, but they had several calls where they were like, oh, well, that would have benefited Tennessee. They have to call it. And it's like, wait, what? What does that mean? And then they even made the comment, they're like, if Tennessee doesn't get this specific whistle, they're done. There's no chance.
Right.
And so that's where, as a fan of it, you get a little discouraged of like, well, if that is true, and a lot of people know it, we need to be able to adapt and have a system in place that, regardless of the whistle, obviously one way or the other is going to benefit you, but you can overcome it. If you can't overcome a certain whistle, then what are we doing?
And it felt like because of that whistle, we were scared to drive it. I didn't watch the second half.
That was a wise choice.
But just where was our cutting and driving, the way teams do to us? I get they're playing good defense, but just go. Don't look for the jumper. Like, take it all the way in for a layup. And I'm talking about like our wings and point guards. Yeah, throw it down low, but if it's not working, go all the way in for a layup. Yeah. Do a high pick and roll. Don't pull up, go out, because you're going to get fouled. We just didn't do that. It's like we were scared. I don't know. It was a different Tennessee. It was not the Iowa State that, to your point, when we beat Kentucky and then we lost to Houston afterwards. We were like a shell of ourselves after Iowa State.
Yeah. So it beckons the question, with everything going on the hill, we were operating at a high level of basketball, baseball, football, softball, women's basketball. Obviously, I'd say a embarrassing loss in the Elite Eight was our one shining moment for sports in 2025-2026 season. But obviously, there's still a huge gap in the talent between a program like Michigan and a program like Tennessee. I think we've seen that on the football field. We just lost our national championship baseball coach. The women's basketball team is in disarray. So where do we go from here? Do we spend the money? Can we spend the money to get into the Final Four, to the college football playoff? Where are we? What do we do?
Rick just got, he got Connect, he got Lanier, he had Jacoby. some kind of random guy, maybe even a mid-major guy coming out who's a sharpshooter. We got a guy yesterday.
I didn't see that.
Lungblade or Lungblood, something. It's a different name. But yeah, so that's good, but we're losing a ton of points. We're losing, obviously, key players. So I don't know about basketball. This is my bar. Can I just say, for like all of UT sports going forward, I would just love us to beat Vanderbilt again and be consistent in that.
Yep.
Which sounds disgusting to say.
Yep.
But baseball was just swept by them. Obviously, we were embarrassed in Neyland by their football team. Lost in basketball. Like, it's rough. The women, I don't think they killed us the last time they played, but
We can't even win our state. You're right.
we can't.
We're not the best team in the state anymore
No.
in any sport.
But you would argue we have the advantage talent-wise, resource-wise, and coaching. Like, our coaches
do.
are all better.
Yes.
Minus maybe the baseball side.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'd say Corbin is
Their women's coach, I would take their women's coach over Kim Caldwell.
basketball. You
Yeah.
take their coach
So
over Rick.
No.
If you're the AD, where do you make changes then at Tennessee? Like, is it just getting better talent, more better talent, paying more?
Indiana proves if you pay more money, it doesn't matter what your school name is, like you can win a championship.
Yeah.
That's what Indiana did
Yeah.
last year in football.
It's also what Miami did. And
That's fair.
there's a reason why they were both
That's fair.
there.
Right. So, like, yes, at the end of the day, we have to, but at the same time, I hate that. I don't want that to be the answer,
Right.
but I feel like it is.
I think you have to build it wisely because look at Kentucky's basketball program, whatever it was, $24 million roster. They didn't buy culture, and it showed. That all those guys are mercenaries, just came to play. Look at basically everything Texas Tech has done. They had a fantastic football and basketball season this year because they got big oil money,
Yep.
Yeah.
and they went and spent like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But they fell apart at the end. I mean, and I know Toppin got hurt in basketball, so that hurt them. But you see the same results. And so my thought is, if you've got quality coaching like Rick and like Heupel, you can maybe the culture piece is there. I feel like at our respective programs, minus maybe the women's basketball team, they're falling apart. I think there's so much stuff going on there. I don't even know. But the other ones, like the program that Tony has built and then left, and then football and basketball, it feels like if you spend the money, you can get a lot of those guys with the right balance of culture fit. And I feel like Nate Amin is a great, like, we spent money on him, a supreme talent, and he fit the culture. We just didn't have enough.
Right. Do we need 3 of those guys?
Yeah.
Like, Duke's got like 6 deep of those type
Mhm.
guys on their team.
Yeah.
Speaking of Duke, did y'all see the ending?
Maybe
That was
one of the
crazy.
craziest endings I've ever witnessed.
Absolutely.
I didn't even watch the game. It was a highlight I saw later on that I was bummed I didn't see it live.
I watched the last 8-9 minutes, and I mean, I was like, ugh, Duke, here they go again. You know, they've got it. And then it was shocking. I mean, my mouth was hanging open. I was like, what did they just hold the ball? You
Yeah.
don't have to do anything with
Right.
it. It was unbelievable.
So the coaching piece of that game was brilliant on both coaches' parts, in my opinion, because UConn knew that a tied possession, they're getting the ball back. Duke knows if they hold on to the ball, they'll just come up, they won't foul, they will take the ball, and they will lose possession of the ball. So both coaches have got to be coaching that. And so you know UConn is practicing this full court press. They know those 2 guys are wide open down there. It's all or nothing. And so when they converge on Boozer,
Okay, yeah.
Boozer's got 2 options. Hold the ball and hope and pray they foul you, or chuck that thing. And he went with chuck it, which was I think was the right thing to do. Just UConn was better prepared, and they were ready for it. Because if he holds that ball, he's a little bit undersized. There's 2 guys converge on him. It's entirely possible you get a jump ball situation, and it's going to UConn. They can run an inbounds play.
They did suck him into that play.
They did.
But how tall was the guy that he's thrown it over? That was their
Yeah.
big that he's thrown it. Like,
Yeah.
that's not
But if you get it over him, the game's over. You're going to the Final Four.
What happened? Is the bounce pass dead in basketball? Or the fake, like go high, get them up, and then that's what we were taught, right?
He's a freshman, right? So
That's
there's maybe a little bit of that.
We
But
learned that in high school, middle school.
as the announcer would say, the onions for that guy. I mean, amazing shot.
Thank you.
Amazing
You heard
shot.
it, right?
Yes.
Did you hear? Okay, and there were 2 commercials where he says onions in it, and I was like, see, I knew
You
it.
were right. You
Yes.
called it.
I meant to say that earlier. I'm glad you brought that up. All right, so let's close it out with who do you think is winning on Saturday? Who's playing Monday night?
I will say this, and shame on me, I will have revisionist history on Tuesday if I need to. But as my guy Mike, shout out Mike, said, the national championship is Arizona and Michigan. Those are by far the 2 best teams.
Yes.
I mean, they've been dominant. They've been absolutely dominant. I would give the edge to Arizona. I think they've been really good. I obviously, as a Tennessee fan, I'd like to see Michigan kind of validate our stomping, but I
Really?
think,
You'd rather see Michigan win? Wait a second, that's shocking. I want to see Arizona cream Michigan.
I do too.
well, yeah,
I want to see a Waka dunk all over Michigan.
Yes.
I do want to Waka to avenge us. I cheer for him.
Yes.
But there's a part of me that's like, well, at least we got stomped by the eventual national champion. There's a little bit of that of like
No.
coping
We're
mechanism.
Charles Woodson. Come on. You can't cheer for Michigan in any way, shape, or form.
Okay,
Right.
sorry,
on.
Sam, if you're listening, I'm sorry.
And the Spygate, wasn't that Michigan?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
They
Yeah,
cost
I
us a national championship. They cost Peyton the Heisman. Come
Okay,
on.
I have obviously struck a nerve, and
You have.
I don't think you're wrong.
These
I
are
think I'm wrong.
fighting words.
Yes.
I think I'm wrong. I'm going Arizona, UConn. National champion is Zona.
That's what I have in my bracket. Same thing. I think I had them beating someone else, but I had Arizona winning. Maybe it was Arizona versus Duke. Is that right?
I
Is
do.
that the way they were?
Listeners,
Yeah, I think
Joe's
he
going to win the RNS
He is.
bracket.
Maybe.
He's number
Maybe.
1 right now.
If
yeah,
they
he-
win, right? But
Yeah.
if Michigan wins, I don't win, right?
No.
Okay.
You've got Arizona. I think UConn beats Illinois.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, I could go either way there. But I hope Michigan gets smashed.
Yep. I hope that was their peak. You know, Michigan's peak. They don't have anything left.
Yeah.
Arizona beats them. But yeah, Arizona.
Which sorry, I'm derailing us, but the college sports landscape, you had the old guy at Michigan for years. He's successful, phases out. They bring on Jawan alumni, Howard, comes back, revitalizes. They're automatically competitive again. He has 2 stinkers of a season, and he's gone. And they get this guy from FAU,
Yeah.
and now they're amazing again.
Wait a second. Was this the Dunk City guy at FAU? Wasn't it FAU? I don't know. Like 7 or 8 years ago, all they did, they
no,
were
that's
that.
Florida Gulf Coast.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, I know exactly.
There was like all
not
they did
the
was
same
throw
coach.
lobs and dunk all the time.
Yes.
And they won.
What
They were like a
amazing-
Cinderella.
Different team. I think he took FAU to an Elite 8 3 seasons ago. Anyways, obviously I'm prepared for our podcast. I got all the information. But anyway, it's almost like they've gone through these 3 phases where they were like elite, stunk, and now they're elite again. To me, I don't understand. Like, is it a capital thing? I don't think there's a ton of guys. Like, their center came from UCLA, transferred over there. It's not the weather.
It's the money.
It's the money.
It's the money.
It's the money.
So, come on, Danny, find
It's
us.
the money and the cheating. They've proven that. They've proven
Look.
to be cheaters, okay?
Can we the next one? Can we do one on if you were the athletic? Like if you were to pick one coach right now from the tournament, like would it be someone like the Iowa State's coach?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who's looking for? Is it who's looking for a coach? Big
Well,
program.
Gainey just went to NC State,
Okay.
but North Carolina was. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're still
Did-
looking.
Yeah.
Because Hubert, they parted ways with Hubert.
Yeah.
Bill Self stayed on at Kansas.
Yeah. Nebraska guy's staying, right? I think he said,
Hoiberg.
"Don't
Is
talk
that
to me."
Hoiberg?
Michigan State, he's staying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Be
Is
interesting.
Donovan going to stay? I think they were trying to get him.
In the
Billy?
NBA?
Yeah, they're trying.
Oh, surely.
Carolina.
Again,
Why would you want to come back to college
I
at this
don't know.
point?
I don't know.
if I was an up and coming coach, I'd be scrapping as best I could to be an assistant coach on an NBA team. So
Yeah.
I didn't have to recruit and do
Yeah.
NIL junk and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
there's contracts, there's lawyers, there's agents.
Yep. All right. Well,
All right.
that was our elite sports analysis from the logistical world.
Go
Catch us
Vols!
next time.